Dr. Mukul, please.
Thank you, Dr. Sood. It is very distressing, very difficult to talk about violence against doctors. Doctors have been subjected to violence in the last few years. It wasn't so a few years back. I would not like to expand on how the violence has taken place against doctors because we are all aware, the lay public is aware, each and every person in this world is aware how doctors are being brutally assaulted in our country. I do not want to expand on that. I would rather talk about other factors which have now crept in during the COVID times. And one important factor which has crept in during the COVID time is verbal violence. Verbal violence is something new which has come in. And who is triggering of this verbal violence? This verbal violence is being triggered by influential business people who, in the garb of being well-wishers of the country or well-wishers of the nation, are actually spreading verbal violence against doctors. They are casting aspersions on excellent work which is being done by doctors all over the country. The saviors of people, they are being brutally assaulted verbally. They are being abused. They are being, I do not want to know what words to say for them. They are terrible words which have been said about doctors. They are even laughing at death of doctors. It is shameful. I do not know how shameful you can get, how low you can stoop in your life to behave like that. It is really very, very, very bad. And unfortunately, these arrogant, self-serving traders who are unscrupulous in nature, they have got herd popularity. I am using the word herd. It is just like animals running. They've got herd popularity. And they are spitting venom and igniting violence. So that's why it is verbal violence. It is not verbal abuse, but it is verbal violence which is taking place. The next thing which has happened in the recent times, thanks to Twitter, is troll violence. Now they have started trolling doctors. If you look at the newspaper today, Times of India, there's an article today which states that one doctor who had done some research on medicinal plants and their efficacy in liver disease, he's being trolled dramatically. People are after him. They're after his life. Just imagine all through the day, the poor boy is receiving on the social media, WhatsApp, dirty messages, arrogant messages, abusing him. This is the amount of trolling which is happening. This is the amount of troll violence which is happening. A little bit about physical violence. Physical violence, as Dr. Jailal also very clearly said, occurs mainly in government hospitals. What happens is a non-salvageable patient is brought to the hospital, patient who's almost dying, and the patient is brought to the hospital. After that, junior doctors treat them. I don't blame the junior doctors. They could not salvage the patient, and the patient dies. And then a mob, which is ignited, the violence is ignited by certain unsocial elements. They ignite the mob to go and injure or beat up the doctor. The patient was brought to the hospital expecting that the doctors are gods. No. And when the miracles did not happen, the miracle could not save the doctor. The doctors, the status from dogs is, from gods is changed into dogs. And they treat doctors like dogs thereafter. But there's a silver lining in this. One thing I would like to say, why did they consider doctors as gods? Because we have built up their reputation. That is why they brought the patient to us. They did not bring the patient to a politician, to a guru, or to an alternative medicine practitioner. They brought the patient to the doctor because they were expecting from this. And when the expectations were not met, thereafter they started showing violence. I want you to remember one small saying which says, only if you work, you fail. If you don't work, you never fail. If you don't work, you will not die in the COVID epidemic. If I also start sitting at home and in the luxury of saying that there's a lockdown, I'm sitting in the air conditioning of my home, and if I don't work, I will not die. But if I go out and work, like our junior doctors are working in the wards, they are going to die. And that is what explains the so many deaths of these doctors. Because they're working with COVID patients, trying to salvage them, and that is why they're dying. Again, in the last month, the doctors have been accused of constantly changing guidelines for treating COVID. And they're saying that experimental therapies have been used on patients by various people. Remember one thing, it is only modern medical science which was able to increase the average life expectancy of people from 30 years to 70 years today. It has not happened just by a joke or by somebody's grace. That the life expectancy has in the last two centuries gone up from 30 to 70, which is a creditable achievement. And why has this happened? Because of constant endeavor by the doctors, constant change by the doctors, who have continuously improved upon that, the working, continuously improved upon the therapies which are available to this. When I joined anesthesia, that was about 35 years back, I used to practice with ether. Today, I don't practice with ether. Over the years, I've changed so many drugs. I've gone to further and further improvement. Why is this possible? Because modern medicine believes in constant change, constant improvement. And today, when I give anesthesia, it's very smooth. It wasn't smooth when I used to use ether. So that is how we work. The modern medicine works on developing, doing research, using evidence-based medicine, and then changing. In case we have used remdesivir or some other drug in the initial part of the epidemic, it was as a desperation. It was as a desperation. We were desperate to treat patients, so we had to try new drugs. When they didn't work, we also jumped them. We threw them away. We knew we are not like we kept them tightened to our chest and we said, no, we have discovered remdesivir, that is the golden this thing. And no, when we found that it was useless, evidence-based, we jumped it also. So that is how we have managed. The modern medicine has managed things. Our country has had wonderful therapeutic systems. Modern medicine came into our country just 2 centuries back. We had great therapeutic systems, no denying that. But why did they wither away? They withered away because there was no research in them. There was no upgradation of knowledge of the traditional medical systems. They were living on their old glory. They used to say, no, it was done like this in the Vedic times. We are following that. What about research? What about upgradation? Diseases have changed. Disease patterns have changed. Longevity of the patient has changed. People are living longer. You've got diseases of geriatric nature. You didn't have those diseases then. You didn't have cancer in those days because people were just living up to 30 years on an average. Why? That is the why. But modern medicine has proved over the last few decades, it has proved that we are able to find out new drugs, find out new therapy modes. We are able to change things totally. And that is why we have been able to succeed in modern medicine. I have published about 90 research papers till date. But I'm a very small time researcher. Every year, millions of papers are published by modern science. What do we mean by that? We are trying to improve further. Out of 100, 200 papers, one important aspect will come out. So we are ready to find out things rather than just living on some glory that we have start bragging. We have got something, we start bragging, we start chest thumping that I found a treatment for everything in one day. No, it is not so. There is no Ramban for anything. If I use erythromycin today, tomorrow erythromycin may be the wrong drug to use for a particular age, for a particular disease. There is no Ramban in medicine. It is a constant change, constant improvement which we have to do. Another reason why alternative medicines failed was today alternative medicine is not a medicine which is prescribed by Ayurveda Acharyas or Unani practitioners. It is by advertisement. Today, Ayurveda is not Ayurveda. Ayurveda is not done by Ayurveda Acharyas. It is practiced by advertisement blitz. You show advertisement, you show one old man standing there and says that I will cure cancer with this, I will cure corona with this. That is not Ayurvedic medicine. Ayurvedic medicine has to be practiced like Ayurvedic medicine was practiced with improvements over time. Unfortunately, that is not so. And to worsen facts, our state-sponsored method of starting mixopathy. Mixopathy, I don't know why this stupid thing has come in it. I would call it an ugly way of practicing medicine. Either you practice one type of medicine, Unani, Ayurveda, whatever, or you practice modern medicine. You can't practice both. If you put your legs in two boats which are sailing together, invariably at some point of time, you will be overthrown, you'll be thrown into the water and you are going to drown. So please practice. If anybody wants to practice their own therapy, practice that, develop expertise in that, treat people well, because we have to remember we are doing it for the well-being of the people of the country, not for our own well-being. Thank you very much.